COVID-19 since March last year, and the effect of COVID-19 in the country is clearly right there for everybody to see. In terms of economics, in terms of people's health, in terms of people's mental health, in terms of very many other things. And a majority of Kenya's population is what is considered constitutionally recognized as youth. That's 35 and below. Many of those 35 and below are students, either in early childhood, in basic education, that's up to Form 4, or in college and tertiary and post-secondary education up to university level, right? So this vital cog of our population in this time, how are they coping with the effect of COVID-19?
Well, you mentioned that there's a trajectory, primary, kindergarten, etc., etc. But then there's that group who are neither in high school nor in TVETs or in the university. Some have completed, some...
So it's post-secondary, but...
Yes.
Did not proceed with education.
Didn't proceed. Some went to, completed, no jobs. Some... I'm being granular, but the diversity of what it is that the youth or the category that youth can fall into, I think is as varied as they are the groupings of what we refer to as youth.
Yeah.
Yes. And they form the bulk of our population in this country.
That's true.
Yes.
And a lot needs to be done, programmatic, in terms of, getting them on board, getting to support them to even go through this COVID-19 period and post-COVID.
Yes.
How do they, that word that has come with COVID, pivot. How do they pivot with the COVID-19 period? Let's bring in somebody who's an expert on these particular matters, because he is the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies, Research and Extension at USIU-Africa. Professor Amos Njuguna joins us on the line. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning, Patrick.
Thank you very much for joining us. This is Eric Latif. In the room, we also have C.T. Muga and Nduoko. So, Prof, a lot we're going to be discussing in this hour about youth and what the youth need to do, what the youth need to, to be given in terms of advice and all by people such as yourselves who deal with them. But first, let's start by understanding, Professor Amos Njuguna, you are a finance professor. That's a big thing. What's that?
And we ask this because oftentimes, if I may speak about myself, I have great difficulties understanding the difference between accounting and finance.
Yes.
That is, of course, if there's a difference.
And then there's economics.
Yeah, no, economics really throws a curveball into it completely.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Eric. And it's really not that complex. And being a professor in day-to-day life is much more about what you can do for the community. It's much more about what kind of impacts do you have. So if you've got numerous impact to have with respect to those who rely on your services, then you are almost there. So that should not worry you. Again, it's just about the background. I do have that background in accounting. I'm a certified accountant of Kenya.
Okay.
And also a financial economist, because most of my research revolves around saving young people, economic empowerment and all that. But most importantly, impacting on the communities. Thank you.
Very big things and good things as well. And the way you've talked about looking at young people and inculcating some cultures like savings, like good investment, like financial management, and thinking of such kind of things. Just tell us about the kind of work that you've done with the young people in this sphere, and maybe some success stories here and there.
Oh, thank you very much. First, let's put things into context. You already indicated about the youth, and I can tell you that it's a real problem. 2019 census, this group accounts for about 75%. Those who are less than 75, those who are less than 35, 75% of them in this country. Now, Eric, 800,000 of them join the job market every year. And yet, of course, you and I know that the economy is not opening as fast to be able to absorb this group. Now, as we speak right now, you've told me to say about successes. As we speak right now, our staff from USIU are already at the county levels. In Machakos, in Nairobi, we are already impacting on about 573 youths right now, bringing them on board to understand critical life skills program that helps them to get onboarded into entrepreneurship, that helps them to get onboarded into social and innovation aspects. So this group, by the way, is not even our traditional university qualifying group. They are youths who are out of school and out of employment and recruited through the Kenya Youth Employment Opportunities Project. They are in the rural areas, but we believe that we first must bring them on board to achieve critical life skills. As a result of, they are able to make better informed choices. You might ask yourself in perspective, every time we have national exams, we see on TV young girls who got pregnant, for example, teen mothers, and they did their exams at that level. But the story ends there. Who follows them after that? And that's one of the things that as a university we are very intentional to, and we attend to that. Secondly, we also have programs that revolve around agribusiness. We get youth who are at the university level, not necessarily at the university level. We provide them with appropriate mentorship, training, linkage to finance, then enables them much better in their business. We've impacted on over 1,200 youth as of a program that ended in March this year. So in our effort, we look for resources, we put together people, process and systems, and understand what are these barriers. And our job as a university then is to break those barriers and ensure that we are accessing these opportunities. And we have put a lot of research around that area to be able to in what works, when, where, and with who. Because again, the issue of taking youth as a huge group is what most of the programs do the intersectionality, where we say, okay, is it the rural? Is it the youth who are in campus? Is it the vulnerable, that is the young girls, youth with disability, as well as refugees? And then we formulate specific packages for them.
Oh, okay, Prof. I hear you. This is Ndu. I hear you saying that obviously you have your ear on the ground in terms of what the job market or what the economic situation then is requiring, and then you're preparing students before they leave the gates of the university to be able to face that when they're out there. A lot of times, and I mean the recent past from the education sector, we've seen that the problem has been that institutions are not tailoring their teaching or tailoring education to the needs of the market. Do you see this as one of the things then that actually should fuel decisions made by institutions of higher learning right now and going forward?
Exactly. It's a two-way thing. First, at the institutions of higher learning may not be preparing youths effectively for the job market. On the other hand, the industry is also sometimes not providing proper feedback to the institutions to be able to service what they need. And then the third angle, which is rarely seen, is the students' preparedness to get into that. So we have identified that as a barrier, and that is why, as a university, we are very, very categorical in ensuring that our curriculum that are approved both in Kenya and in the US have got the input from the industry. if you come to our campus at some of our classes today, you will find guest lectures. You will find persons from the industry are the ones who are teaching some of our classes. You will find international faculty in our classes. Right now, with virtual learning and everything, this has been made much easier. So experienced individuals from the industry are connected to our students here. Issues of networking also, because they also revolve around that. We come, for example, a program we call the Graduate Connect, where our students are connected across board with the variety of mentors who are mostly alumni who are successful locally, and they network and teach them and show them what is the right thing to do to put your feet on the ground and become successful on transition from campus. I could go on and on. For example, we've done a program called Employer. This is a program that we connect with the Light for the World and the Standard Chartered Bank. And within this program, we are able to bring on board so many youth. And to make it merrier, we open it up even for other universities. So the Light for the World opens up for other universities. And over 4,000 students are currently participating in this program, USIU included, of course.
I actually like the broad strokes of your program, but there's something I want to ask. How exactly does this program deal with innovation, specifically innovation that is geared towards making it relevant to the communities, specifically rural communities that we have in this country?
Thank you, Eric.
No, this is my apologies. This is the older Eric. His name is Muga, CT Muga.
Muga. Okay.
Yeah, yes. Eric is actually my third cousin, 4 times removed. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the question.
Yes.
In terms of technology, you appreciate that at the moment, technological space is growing, and it's the space on which we expect a lot of growth in jobs. It's the space that's generally growing most. So as a result, we do have a huge innovation and incubation space at the student center. Actually, we take a whole floor, how serious we are on it. And we host what we call the App Factory that has so far serviced over 500 students who get in there with their ideas and are able to crack technological solutions. During COVID, we supported, we supported over 100 SMEs to go online to be able to adopt technology and use that technology to improve their sales, use that technology to reach and connect with their customers, and use that technology to come up with new stuff. Most importantly, within the App Factory and also within the technological solutions, you find our faculty and students in the villages, in the rural areas, trying to seek artificial intelligence and Internet of Things devices that can help, for example, detect the prevalence of pests and diseases in the farms. You find them working on technological solutions that tend to connect different individuals within the value chain. We just completed a project that involved the agent network model in Nyandarua County, for example, where we use technological aspects to be able to connect different players within the value chain. So these solutions are developed by the students and faculty for the community that badly needs them.
The projects that you work on, Prof, and you've talked about very many projects, and they sound like they're quite impactful. Are they part of USIU programs, or are they part of community service or CSR?
Okay, it's twofold. As a university, we believe that the university belongs to the community. And that was my opening point. Or even as a professor, if I'm not impacting on the community, then really I'm not very useful with the title. So belong to the university. They are tied to the academic programs, because if you talk about the agent network model or servicing SMEs, it is our students who are working, putting hands-on skills to be able to support these SMEs, and we reach out to them. In other words, we get to the community and say, what is the problem with the community? And then we use the problem to make solutions and improve our curriculums that we teach inside the classrooms. So it's two-way, because we service that through two pillars, actually three pillars. One, what we call excellence in teaching and learning, solution-based. Two, exemplary research and scholarship, because it's out of this that we are able to teach how to do research and impactful research at that. And most importantly, service and community engagement. So even when you call it CSR, for us, we know we are doing that for the community as part of corporate social responsibility, but also most importantly, it is also feeding into our research, it is also feeding into our teaching and learning. Thank you.
I mean, just looking at what USIU does, education to take you places, and some of the things that you've talked about. And this was something that was as a slogan way before things like COVID even happened, and shifting from the traditional job market and doing different things in entrepreneurship. So it would seem as if education to actually take you places, taking you places then, even in these times where things would appear to be very, very difficult, excuse me, in the job market. Now, are these initiatives that you've put in place now sustainable beyond this period where we see COVID? Have they come about as a result of COVID only, or do you see it as necessary to continue changing approaches to things to then make it possible for students armed with an education to survive in the world?
Thank you. I do provide historical, present, and future proposition. Historically, this is a space that we have been there. In the last 1 decade, we have put in sufficient efforts, processes, and people to be able to take initiatives that take our students places. Now, at the present, we remodeled. We simply remodeled and said, okay, we must continue doing this, especially with COVID. Now, then, post-COVID, what are we going to do? We are going to increase. The university is very deliberate. 2021 to 2026, we have revisited our strategy to ensure that the motto and the issue of taking our students places is there. I could give you examples. During this COVID situation, for example, we've had some of our students going to top-notch graduate schools. We have students who've been admitted to the London School of Economics, another one admitted in UC Berkeley in the public policy space. So our efforts have been in the past, the present, also the future. For this purpose, we do have virtual node student and faculty exchange. A student in USIU join a class as an exchange student. But right now with COVID, they are able to sit on their computers. They are able to attend virtual classes. Similarly, students from other universities are able to plug into our classes. And also faculty. We have lecturers who are doing our classes and teaching. So you can see, for us, it's a modeling, adapting, and getting us flexible as we can to be able to cope with the situation.
Indeed, and I think that's a lot of work and some good work that USIU-Africa is doing as you look at supporting the youth-led initiatives during this pandemic and preparing for a post-pandemic future. Professor Amos Njuguna, USIU-Africa's Dean, School of Graduate Studies, Research and Extension, thank you very much for joining us this morning, and thank you for all the good work that you're doing there with the other faculty and the students.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.